Hi. We all want to be healthy, happy, and to do well. And health and happiness go together, and unhappiness and sickness go together. I'm Neil Beck, and I was a Perth, Australia doctor for 53 years and now do live streaming 3 times a week to help people grow their health and happiness and function and perform well. In 53 years, altogether I had 500,000 consultations, home and hospital visits. And I learnt that and I saw people suffering all kinds of injuries, diseases, infections, and mental and relationship problems and addictions. I helped 800 babies into the world and did hundreds of tonsillectomies, appendectomies, and vasectomies. And I also had my own addiction clinic for 5 years in Victoria Park, the epicenter of drugs in Western Australia. And I treated 5,000 addicts there in 40,000 consultations, and I found that addicts had almost all been driven to drugs because they had mental health disorders which they were not able to get proper help for, and in desperation for relief they turned to street drugs, which always give great relief at first, and you only need small amounts which don't cost very much, but you need more and more and more. With addictive substances, there are several things. First of all, they give you great relief from some sort of distress. Secondly, every time you take them, you become a little bit resistant to them. And then the next time you take them, you need a slightly bigger dose to relieve the distress and overcome that resistance. And when you take a bigger dose, you then develop higher resistance, and so it goes on and on and on. Bigger doses, more resistance, bigger doses, more resistance, until the addictive substance has disturbed your chemistry so much that if you don't have that addictive substance, you feel terrible and you function terribly, and then you're addicted to that substance. The most important thing I learned is that if you're mentally healthy, you'll mostly be happy, mostly perform well, and mostly be able to get what you need and want. But if you're mentally unhealthy, you'll be unhappy, you'll perform poorly, you'll often not be able to get what you need and want, and have troubled families and relationships, and you or your children may seek help on the streets and become addicts, which is a disaster. I found there are no perfect mums, dads, families, homes, streets, districts, schools. Every child had some suffering and developed some mild, moderate, or severe mental health disorders. And there was never enough mental health help for all the people who needed mental health help. There were long waiting lists, and so for 10 years, for 22 years, I've been working on 10 tools to help people to help themselves. If you can help yourself some of the time, then there'll be enough mental health care professionals to do the rest. If half the mental health help that the world's population needs, they could do themselves with self-help tools, then the mental health care professionals could cope with the rest. But unless people help themselves, there's just not enough help available. And to help yourself, you need good, effective, convenient, low cost or free tools. At my website, smilefixit.com, in one page you will see the whole of mental health laid out, and you can tap whichever parts are interesting for you and get the information and the understanding and the help you need quite quickly. The present mental health tools that are used are just inadequate, and that's why the present mental health professionals who work with those tools will never be able to cope with all the help that people need. The first tool is face-to-face consultations. You make an appointment and go and see a psychologist or a doctor and discuss your problems. But the problems are that mental health professionals have had a long training, and they're intelligent people, and they need to be paid well. So mental health by consultation is very costly. Mental health professionals at the least need a 4-year Bachelor of Psychology degree from a university, but preferably a master's degree or a 6 or 7 year PhD, and it takes someone 10 or 12 years to become a doctor, then a psychiatrist. So those people need to be paid well, and consultations are slow, so they're very costly. The second existing mental health tool is medicines, and the annual cost of mental health and addiction medicines is $48 billion. That's the world's annual cost of mental health and addiction medicines, $48 billion. But the problem is that the people who need to take medicines want to get it better quickly and stop taking medicines, no longer need medicines. But the people who make medicines want them to take medicines, as many medicines as possible, for as long as possible at high prices. So they make many medicines addictive. All the worry, anxiety medicines are addictive. All the sleep medicines are addictive. And the 3 main ADD, ADHD medicines are addictive. So people take these medicines, get hooked on them, and then have great difficulty stopping them. um, because they usually don't cure the problem. Also, nearly all medicines are in tablets or capsules, and when you take a tablet or a capsule, you need to wash it down with a drink, and it takes 30 to 60 minutes to start to be absorbed by your gut, and 1 to 2 hours before it's giving you strong relief. And that's just too slow if you're suffering from mental health distress, or you're craving something you're addicted to. You want the medicine to work very quickly, and to do that it needs to be powder medicine which you drop on your tongue and suck, which starts to get into your tongue's bloodstream in 5 minutes and gives you strong relief in 5 to 15 minutes. And the pharmaceutical companies make many medicines that are not very effective and too slow. For instance, there's no fast-acting antidepressant. The first major mental health medicine was lithium, discovered in 1949 by a Melbourne psychiatrist. The second was Largactil in 1952, a major tranquilizer and antipsychotic medicine. And the third was 1957 Tofranil, an antidepressant, but Tofranil takes 2 to 4 weeks to start to work. But these medicines were good enough to empty out all the major mental health hospitals. All over the world there were great big hospitals full of mentally very sick people who could not live in the community and had to be in hospital. And these hospitals were such miserable, unhappy and very costly places. But lithium and Largactil enabled people to leave hospital and to live in homes. And that triggered an explosion in mental health medicines, and in the next 50 years between 2,000 and 3,000 medicines were developed for all the different health problems, and many of them were for mental health problems. But the problem was that the people who needed medicine wanted to get better quickly, and the people who make medicine wanted them to take as much medicine as possible for as long as possible. So they made those medicines, many addictive, too slow, and many not very effective. And because each time a pharmaceutical company developed a new medicine, they got a patent or a monopoly on that medicine for 20 years, and nobody else could make that medicine, they were able to charge high prices. But after 20 years, that monopoly or the patent lapses, and then any one anywhere in the world can produce that medicine, and the after 20 years of the patent monopoly, it was known which medicines were very good and which medicines were not very good, and the very good ones got mass produced as generic medicines. And generic powder, because all medicines start as powder, was pretty cheap on a global basis because of competition between the Americans and the English and the Chinese and the Indians to produce generic medicines. And I was prescribing 16 different medicines, and 15 of them were out of patent, more than 20 years old, and the 16th one soon went out of patent because it was 20 years old. And those 16 medicines were the best medicines that I could find. So what I realized was that someone needed to create mental health self-help tools. Today we do everything with tools. If you look in your kitchen and your garden and your garage, there are lots and lots of different tools. Refrigerators, dishwashers, washing machines, all sorts of tools, but the mental health tools, there were only two consultations and medicines, and they both had great weaknesses. So for the last 22 years I've been developing and redeveloping and fine-tuning 10 mental health self-help tools. I've still got quite a bit of work to do, but you can find those 10 tools on my website, smilefixit.com, and most of them are available on your phone, which is in your pocket at all the time, and most of them are free, and anytime, anywhere, just when you've got the time and you're interested or needy, you can whiz your phone out, go to smilefixit.com and start to solve your problems with the self-help tools. The self-help tools were some were smilefixit.com website. Also there's another website, mentalhealthvideoshz.com. The second tool was videos. I have got 88 7 to 20 second videos and 83 under a minute videos. The third tool was the Mental Fix-It app. The Mental Fix-It app, you can on your phone go to the App Store or Google Play and download the free Mental Fix-It app, and in 3 or 4 minutes tap on your choice of answers to the questions and quickly understand what your main problems are and what caused them and how to fix them. The fourth tool is live streaming, which I'm doing now because lots of people love to go online and scroll. They either watch videos or watch live streaming, and so I try to cover both and do live streaming on Wednesday and Friday at 7 p.m. Perth time, and Sunday morning at 9 a.m. Perth time. The fifth tool was powder medicine, because it's so fast acting, and powder is generic powder is half the price of tablets or capsules, because turning the powder into tablets or capsules is a complex business. Then the sixth tool is pocket powder medicine dispensers. You have your powder in your pocket, and anytime, anywhere, when you start to feel a mental health distress or start to feel an addiction craving, you just whiz out your medicine and drop it on your tongue, suck it, don't swallow it, and it gets into your tongue's blood supply. Your tongue is red or pink because its blood vessels are so near the surface, and the thousands of tiny grains of medicine get into those blood vessels quickly, and you start to get help from the medicine in 5 minutes. And after a couple of weeks you develop taste conditioning, and then the medicine starts to work as soon as you taste it. As soon as you drop it on your tongue and it reaches your taste buds at the back of your tongue, it starts to work, and you get strong benefit in 5 to 10 minutes. The seventh tool is a heartbeat meditation aid, which helps you to learn to meditate easily. Meditation is so helpful, but the people who most need the benefit of meditation often can't learn to meditate. But my heartbeat meditation aid helps them. You just plug it in. That's the hearing part. You put the hearing part over your upper left chest and focus on your heartbeats, which are loud and clear and strong and attention grabbing, and learn to meditate. The eighth tool is another pocket dispenser. It's a bigger dispenser that gives a bigger dose, and it dispenses not medicine but fruit powder, tasty fruit powder. And tasty fruit powder in your pocket helps you avoid sugary things. When you think of chocolate and lollies and biscuits and cakes and drinking drinks that are full of sugar, instead you have a lovely taste of fruit powder. My favourites are vanilla and chocolate, but fruit powder is more and more popular worldwide, and you can go online and buy 10 or 20 different fruit powders, whatever your favourite is. And the lovely taste of fruit powder helps you to make new habits, and helps you to break old habits. The ninth tool, which I haven't got up yet, is I call phone treasure. It's having stuff on your phone that you love, and anytime, anywhere, when you need a lift or you need to avoid something that's bad for you, you just whiz it out and listen to what whatever you love on your thing, music or someone talking, or singing, or you look at things you love, your cat, your dog, your grandchildren, your girlfriend, your new car, whatever. So phone treasure will come. We'll get to that in the next month or two. And the 10th tool I want to talk to you about, which is Scroll Plus, and I think Scroll Plus has great potential. TikTok has over 1 billion visitors every month, over 1 billion visitors every month, and most of them, those visitors, love scrolling. With scrolling you can race through hundreds and hundreds of things, and according to a ChatGPT search I did, that boosts people's mood. It makes them more cheerful, and secondly, it boosts their creativity. They keep on finding new things that they find interesting, and it boosts their creativity. And thirdly, it's addictive. So I eventually realized what I had to do was to put mental health in scrollable form, and altogether I've got 88 items, 88 things you want or need or are solutions for mental health problems. And those 88 items at Scroll Plus on smilefixer.com, you can race through about 8 or 10 items a minute. But every time you find an item that's of interest to you, you tap on it and an instant 7 to 20 second video comes up in which I tell you about that particular thing you're interested in. So it helps you to understand it and what to do about it. So if you've got 20 or 30 minutes, you can scroll the whole 88 items and see videos, 7 to 20 second videos on everything that's of interest to you. But if you've only got 5 minutes or 10 minutes, you just scroll, start from the beginning and keep going till you have to stop, and then you just tap the enough button, and when you tap the enough button, up comes on the screen the items that you tapped on as of importance to you and watched the 7 to 20 second video. And you can watch those videos at any time, again and again and again, until you get them and learn what they help you to understand. And the next time you do the Scroll Plus, you first of all see the links to those 7 to 20 second videos that have been important to you, and then you have time to scroll further and find more things that are important to you and watch their 7 to 20 second video. So in 3 or 4, 5 minute or 10 minute sessions, you can scroll through the whole lot and know everything that's important to you in mental health and addiction, everything that you want or need or is a solution. And the 7 to 20 second videos have got links to 1 minute videos, so whenever you've got time, you can then watch the 1 minute videos that give you more information about the items that you want, need, or are important solutions for you. And whenever you want, in 3 minutes, you can do the Mental Fix-It app, and its instant report tells you which 6 of our 83 under a minute videos will most help you with your main problems. So what are some of the items? The 88 items are divided into 9 groups, and the first group is bad feelings are usually what trouble us most, and there's 17 items under bad feelings which help you to understand any bad feelings you have and what to do about them. The second group is 10 items. The surest way to be happy, healthy and perform well is to grow your mental health. The first item is what usually most helps us to be happy, healthy, perform well and get what we want, need, is growing our mental health. And if that's important to you, you just tap on it and see a 7 to 20 second video that helps you with that. The second item is mental health is good feelings, good thinking, good performance, good habits, and normal warning feelings. And if that's important to you, you tap on it and see a 7 to 20 second video. It's particularly important to understand warning feelings. We have warning feelings. So we have good feelings and we have bad feelings, and we want the good feelings and we don't want the bad feelings, but there are also 4 warning feelings which are not very nice but which are very important and make our life happier and safer. The 4 warning feelings are loneliness, sadness, anger, normal anger, and anxious carefulness. We need to sometimes feel lonely, because if we didn't have loneliness feeling, we wouldn't know when we didn't have enough friends and relationships. People need people, and loneliness is becoming increasingly common. Our ancestors lived in huts that had no brick walls. They were very close to one another, and our genes and chemistry are still the same as theirs, or almost the same as theirs, and we need people. We need to be close to people, and because of the brick walls and living in separate houses or units or whatever, apartments, loneliness is increasing, and research has shown that loneliness is as damaging as 15 cigarettes a day. So we need to have the feeling of loneliness when we don't have enough friends and enough relationships. We need to feel sad when we've had a loss, something unhappy and saddening has happened to us, because sadness tells us we need to grieve. And when we grieve about something, think about it and feel sorry about it, we recover from it and we get over the sadness. And the third thing we need is anger, normal anger. Most anger is a bad habit. Most anger is a bad habit caused by a bad patch in our life, often in childhood, when so many things happened that made us angry, that being angry, the underlying triggers and drivers, electrical messages in our nerves and chemical messages in our tissues and blood became very strong, and we developed irritability, anger, rage, violence habits. And there's so much domestic violence and so much anger, but we need to know that some anger is normal. If something happens that shouldn't happen, it helps us to know that it shouldn't happen because we feel angry, and that enables us to have the motivation and take the actions necessary to fix that thing that shouldn't have happened. Or if something doesn't happen that should have happened, we may develop normal, natural anger that helps us to know that something's missing and that we need to fix it. An anxious carefulness tells us that the thing we're dealing with is important and perhaps a bit dangerous, and we need to be careful. And if we're not careful, we may get burned. So there are good feelings, there are bad feelings, and there are good but not very nice warning feelings, and we need to tell the difference between all three. It's very important to know that our brain produces about 25 happy, healthy feelings. Happy, healthy feelings are dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin, noradrenaline, and over 20 endogenous morphines called endorphins. And those feelings make us happy in different ways, and they also make us healthy because particularly the endorphins boost our immune system, and our immune system is cells and antibodies and chemicals in every part of us that fight infections, allergies, inflammation, autoimmune diseases, and cancers. And if our happy chemistry is low, our immune system will be weak, and we will suffer from infections, allergies, inflammation, autoimmune diseases, and cancers. I'm doing okay because as a doctor I learned this stuff. I took too long to learn it, but I'm 88 and I'm doing better than any of my friends who are all younger than me. But sadly, my younger brother and younger sister have already both died from malignancies, which I believe were due to stresses and strains they had. My sister's husband died when she was 45, leaving her to raise 3 teenage children, and she had great stress, and that caused her to get 3 different cancers over the years. And my brother, who like me left school at 14, later went back and did a PhD and became a full professor of education at the University of Toronto at the age of 28, and he was just too ambitious and going to live at the other end of the world in a totally different climate and a different culture, and being too ambitious, he became chairman of the North American Educational Association, which had 3,500 members, and he got leukemia. So it's very important to boost your happy feelings by boosting your happy chemistry, which boosts your immune system. What are some other items under growing your mental health? Quickly find, understand, and start fixing bad feelings and poor functioning with the great self-help tools at smilefixit.com. To start getting fully better, start to find and understand all your problems with Scroll Plus 5 to 15 minute sessions. Treat mental health problems and addictions as family emergencies. So often they're just allowed to go on and on and on, and problems cause more problems which cause more problems. But if there's a mental health or an addiction problem in you or your family, get onto it as soon as possible. Find and fix it as soon as possible. To face and fix very big, impossible problems, first get happier, stronger, and more experienced by finding and fixing all your smaller, easier problems. Life is better if you learn to be a good helper and to be easy to help. Some people are just impossible to help. Don't be one of those. Learn to be easy to help, and people will help you. And learn to be a good helper, because it's a scientific fact that when we help other people, that boosts our good feelings as much as doing something for ourselves. You can now comfortably fix old problems with the new tools. There were problems that people couldn't fix themselves, and they had to see a mental health care professional, a psychologist or a doctor, and that was difficult to do. There were long delays, it was inconvenient, it cost too much. But now you can fix many of those problems with our new tools at smilefixit.com. Mental health and addiction problems are usually one link in a chain of problems. You've got this problem because somebody else had that problem, because somebody else had that problem. And often we can't understand our problems unless we understand the chain of problems and the chain of people with problems. So when you find your problem, look for the chain, and it's if it's in your family, anything that helps you at smilefixit.com, share it with the other family members, because it's far easier to get better when the whole family or all the people close to you are getting better. Does your work cause you too many problems? When you do the Scroll Plus or the Mental Fix It app, see if there's anything about your work that's causing your problems. If the work is too difficult or too dangerous or too boring, then look for something else. Okay, so I need to go now because I've got other things to work on. I'll be back again on Wednesday at 7 p.m. Perth time and Friday at 7 p.m. Perth time. Please send me any comments, questions, or complaints through the platform you've watched this live streaming on, or email me at healthestuff@gmail.com, healthestuff@gmail.com, which you can find at smilefixit.com, and I always respond to emails. Thank you for watching. Have a good day. Bye. Oh, fuck. Hi, I'm Neil Beck, and I was a doctor in Perth, Australia for 53 years, and now do live streaming 3 times a week to help people grow their health and happiness and function and perform well. We all want to be healthy, happy, and do well, and health and happiness and performing well go together, and unhappiness and sickness go together. In 53 years, I had 500,000 consultations, home and hospital visits, with people suffering all kinds of injuries, diseases, infections, and mental health and relationship problems and addictions. I helped 800 babies into the world and did hundreds of tonsillectomies and appendicectomies and vasectomies, and treated 5,000 addicts in 40,000 consultations in my own addiction clinic, which I started because the addiction clinics were so unsuccessful. Addicts rarely got well, and many of them went to hospital, prison, or a cemetery because they died. We were having a massive heroin epidemic in the late 1990s, and I wanted to to understand heroin addiction. So I went to all the addiction clinics in Perth and Sydney and asked them what causes addiction, and nobody seemed to know what caused addiction, and nobody thought it was important to know what caused addiction, but I thought it was very important to know what caused addiction. You can't fix problems easily unless you know what caused them. And if you don't find and fix what caused them, even if you help people to get better, they just relapse. So finding causes was very important. What I learned was one of the most important things I learned was that we produce 25 happy, healthy chemicals in our brain, and our face and our breathing are connected to our brain chemistry. The 25 chemicals, roughly 25, about 25, are dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin, and noradrenaline, and over 20 endogenous morphines. The endogenous morphines are called endorphins. And these happy chemicals, some people don't produce enough. And when you don't produce enough, you are miserable, unhappy, but you're also unhealthy because lack of the endogenous morphines or endorphins weakens your immune system. Your immune system is cells, antibodies and chemicals in every part of you that fight infections, allergies, inflammation, autoimmune diseases and cancers. And if those chemicals are weak, then you are likely to suffer from sicknesses, from infections, allergies, inflammation, autoimmune diseases and cancers. And what I found was, surprise, surprise, there are no perfect mums, dads, homes, families, streets, communities or schools. So every kid has some suffering and ends up developing some mild, moderate or severe mental health issues. And one of the most important things in our whole life is to grow our mental health, and to do that as early as possible, because mental health problems cause more problems which cause more problems. So you suffer, and it gets harder and harder to fix all that mess the longer you leave it. But I found that there were never enough mental health professionals, psychologists and psychiatrists, to help all the people who needed help. I still remember one 12-year-old boy whose mother brought him to me because he was suffering, and he'd been on the waiting list of the child mental health clinic for 12 months. I did my best, but I wasn't an expert, and I then realized that I needed to learn more about mental health. And I learned that there were so many people with mental health problems that the mental health professionals, the psychologists and psychiatrists and their clinics could never cope with all, not even a fraction of all the help that was needed. So we had all these unhealthy people with unhappy families, broken marriages, broken hearts, broken minds, addictions, crime, and we had so much money taken up by hospitals and police forces and prisons. And the problem was that the tools that the mental health professionals were using, there were only two tools, and they both had great weaknesses. The first tool was therapy or face-to-face consultations. And the problem with face-to-face consultations was that they were slow. It took an hour to go through a person's problems, to understand what caused them and what might fix them, and to explain the problems to the person concerned and what they needed to do. And the consultations needed to be at least weekly, preferably more often, but usually they were much less often because of the long waiting lists. And because mental health professionals had long training, were intelligent people, and their therapy was slow, the consultations just cost too much. Very few people could afford them. If they had private insurance, the insurance could only cover a limited number of consultations each year. And the free government clinics had long waiting lists. The second mental health tool was medicines, but medicines had great problems. The first mental health medicine was lithium in 1949, which helped people with bipolar disorder and mania. The second mental health medicine was Largactil in 1952, which helped with serious anxiety and psychosis. Largactil was a major tranquilizer antipsychotic medicine. And the third medicine was Tofranil in 1957, an antidepressant. And these medicines were so helpful that they'd emptied out the massive hospitals all over the world, because all over the world there were people whose mental illness was so bad that they couldn't live in a home, in a private house or home. They had to live in a hospital. I can still remember visiting the Claremont Hospital in Perth, a massive and horrible place, so unhappy. People lying on the ground, people lying on the floor, masturbating, people jabbering. And these hospitals all over the world were able to be emptied because lithium Largactil made them well enough to be able to live in private houses and apartments. But and in the next 50 years, medicines exploded. Between 2,000 and 3,000 new medicines were developed for all kinds of sicknesses, many mental health medicines. And today, the world annual cost of mental health and addiction medicines is $48 billion. $48 billion. So medicines were wonderful, and they relieve so much suffering and help so many people to go to work and to live at home and to have a family and a good job. But sadly, there were problems with medicines too. The people who take medicines want to get better quickly and be able to stop taking the medicines, but the people who make medicines want troubled people to stay on as much medicine as possible for as long as possible, for as high a price as possible. So many medicines they make are addictive. So people get hooked on them and can't get off them, or have great difficulty get off them. And many medicines are not that good. They don't fix people quickly and enable them to stop medicines. And most medicines are tablets and capsules, and tablets and capsules work too slowly. When you swallow a tablet or capsule, you have to find a drink to wash it down, and then it takes half an hour to get right down your gut and start to be absorbed into your bloodstream and start to help you with your mental health or addiction problems. Half an hour to an hour to start to work, and 1 to 2 hours to work strongly. And that's just too slow when you're suffering from a nasty mental disorder or a nasty addiction craving. So because they're too slow, you take them 2 or 3 times a day in case you need them, not just when you need them. So what I realized was that people had to be helped to help themselves. If there was never going to be enough mental health professionals and addiction professionals to help everyone, then we had to help them help themselves. And this required that we produce far better, easier to use mental health medicines. Today, everything we do with tools. We have tools in the kitchen, tools in the garden, tools in the garage, tools at work, incredible tools. If there isn't a good tool for something we do, someone makes a tool. You can go online and find tools for everything, and the competition is so great that the tools get better and better and cheaper. The latest tool is AI, and it's taking over, but not in mental health and not in addiction. In mental health and addiction, there are just medicine and consultations which have big problems. So for 22 years I've been building self-help mental health tools that are much simpler, free or low cost, and which people can do anytime, anywhere that suits them, and over and over and over again until they get better. The tools are, first of all, websites. And my earlier websites were too long. There's one which is still there, which some people will appreciate, and it's called Mental Health Videos A-to-Z.com, mentalhealthvideos A-to-Z.com. But I found that people wanted short things, and so I made smilefixit.com. Smilefixit.com has got everything you need on one page, and you just look at that one page and you see what's important to you, and you tap on it and you get information just on what's important to you. The second thing is very short videos. My original videos were long, but now I've got 88 7 to 20 second videos and 83 under a minute videos. So you can very quickly see and understand what's important to you. The third tool is the Mental Fix-It app, because if there's 83 under a minute videos, which videos do you watch? Well, you just on your phone go to the App Store or Google Play, and in a few seconds download the free Mental Fix-It app, and in 3 or 4 minutes tap your choice of answers and get an immediate report, an instant report that tells you which 6 of our 1 minute videos will most help your problems that you've tapped as problems for you. and then you can watch those videos as many times as you need, anytime, anywhere that's convenient for you until you understand them. The fourth tool is live streaming, which is what I'm doing now, because many people, over 1 billion a month, go to TikTok, visit TikTok, and what do they mostly do? They mostly watch very short videos, or they scroll. They just love scrolling. I did a ChatGPT search, and ChatGPT tells me that people love scrolling for 3 reasons. Firstly, it boosts their mood. It lifts their mood, racing through all this interesting information. Secondly, it fires their imagination and triggers their creativity. They see all these new things that they didn't know that they find interesting. And thirdly, scrolling is addictive. So then I realized I had to put mental health and addiction into scroll form. So now I do the live streaming, which you can scroll. The fifth tool is powder medicine, because your tongue is pink or red because its blood vessels are so close to the surface, and if you drop powder medicine on your tongue and suck it, it gets into your bloodstream and starts working in 5 minutes. If you swallow medicines, they take 30 to 60 minutes to start being absorbed down in your gut, and 1 to 2 hours to be working strongly. But if you drop the powder on your tongue, the thousands of granules of medicine start to get into your tongue's blood supply in 5 minutes, and in 10 to 15 minutes it's working strongly. And after a week or 2 you develop what's called taste conditioning, and then the powder medicine dropped on your tongue starts to work in seconds as soon as you taste it, as soon as the powder reaches the taste buds at the back of your tongue. And this is so much better if you're suffering from a mental health distress, or you're suffering from addiction craving. And it's even better because we put the powder medicine in pocket powder dispensers, which are designed and had made, and you keep your pocket, the powder dispenser in your pocket, and whenever you need it, as soon as you start to need it, you whiz out the dispenser and drop the powder on your tongue and suck it. So you can save yourself a great deal of suffering by the speed of dropping powder on your tongue from a pocket powder dispenser, which you always carry. And also bad feelings are mostly bad habits, and you can weaken and break those habits by stopping them as soon as they start. If you stop a habit with the right medicine, as soon as it starts, every time it will gradually weaken and weaken and weaken until you may eventually break it. The seventh tool is a heartbeat meditation aid. Meditation is so valuable for mental health and addiction problems, but the people who would benefit most often can't learn to meditate by the usual methods. So a few years ago I got a cheap stethoscope and cut it short And now you can plug the earphones in. That's the hearing part, and you just put that over your upper chest and listen to your heartbeats, which are loud and clear and very interesting, and enable you to learn to meditate much more quickly. And then once you've learned to meditate in 2 or 3 weeks, you can start to meditate by just focusing on your breathing, which in the end is the best way. Your face is very connected to your brain feelings. To your brain chemistry. What your brain chemistry is doing depends or is affected heavily by whether you're smiling or frowning, or looking miserable or crying. And your brain chemistry is also affected by your breathing, and steady breathing of meditation for 5, 10, 20, 30 minutes calms your brain chemistry and makes you healthier and stronger and perform better. So breathing is important, but you may not, if you can't learn to meditate by following your breathing, then we can send you a heartbeat meditation aid anywhere in the world for $25 plus postage. Just email healthystuff@gmail@smilefixit.com, healthystuff@gmail.com. The eighth tool is another pocket dispenser, a bigger dispenser which gives a bigger dose, and it doesn't dispense medicine, it dispenses fruit powder. You have it in your pocket, and any time you are tempted to have something sugary, lollies, chocolate, cake, biscuits, or drinks that are full of sugar, or smoke, or put other stuff in your mouth that's unhealthy, just whiz this out and drop lovely tasting fruit powder on your tongue. My favourites are vanilla and chocolate, but you can go online and buy 10 or 20 different fruit powders, whatever your favourites are, and these dispensers, which are not available yet but will be available in a couple of months, are so cheap you can afford to have 3 or 4 and have different fruit powders in each one. And fruit powder got a little bit of fruit sugar, but that's no problem, and the lovely taste makes your life better, helps you to avoid things you want to avoid, helps you to make new habits and to break old habits. The ninth tool is not yet up. I call that phone treasure. And what you do is you have lots of stuff you love on your phone, sound, music, or someone talking, or photos, your cat, your dog, your grandchildren, flowers or mountains or rivers or whatever you love. You have it on your phone, and any time you need a little lift or you need to avoid doing something, you whiz it out and enjoy the phone treasure. And the 10th tool is, I hope, going to help millions of people. I call it Scroll Plus. Scroll Plus. So over 1 billion people visit TikTok every month, and they mostly scroll short videos and other items, and they love doing this. According to my ChatGPT search, they love doing it because it boosts their mood, all these interesting things that they see, and it grows their creativity and imagination, all these wonderful new things that they see and new ideas they get, and it's addictive. So I've put 88 items to do with mental health and addictions. That's 88 items that you want or you need or will help you, and you can scroll through those 88 items, about 8 or 10 a minute, and every time you find one that is important to you, you tap on it and immediately see a 7 to 20 second video on that item. Then you scroll some more. When you see another item that's interesting to you, you tap on it and see an instant 7 to 20 second video that helps you. So if you've got 20 or 30 minutes, you can scroll the whole 88 items and you can see instant 7 to 20 second videos just on the items that are important to you. But if you've only got 5 minutes or 10 minutes, you can start scroll 8 or 10 items per minute and watch their 7 to 20 second videos by tapping on them. Then the next time you've got a few minutes, you can go to Scroll Plus at smilefixit.com and see the links to the videos you've already watched because they're important. Watch them again if you want, and then scroll some more items and find some more items that are important to you and watch their 7 to 20 second videos, and then tap the enough button and get the list of links to all the 7 to 20 second videos that are important to you. And when you have scrolled all the 88 items, the program takes you back to the beginning again, and any items that you don't tap on twice in succession, in successive scrolls, means that they're not very important for you, and they get hidden for the next 5 times that you do Scroll Plus. So you end up quite quickly with all the items to do with mental health and addiction, and solutions that are important to you. It doesn't take you months and months of consultations. It just takes you one or a few short sessions, and you know everything that's important to you. You watch very short videos, and each of those very short videos then has a 1 minute or 1 or 2 or 3 1-minute videos linked to it, so that you can get more information about those items. And anytime you can go to the Smile Fix It app and do an and tap on your choice of answers to the questions in 3 minutes or so, and it gives you an instant report that tells you firstly what all the items are that are important for you in descending order of importance, and each with a score. The most important ones usually score about 15, the moderate ones 10 or 11, the less important but still important ones 3 or 4. And the second thing it tells you is which medicines are likely to help you most, which you can then research with Dr. Google and discuss with your doctor to get prescriptions. And the third item it gives you is a list of your total scores, all of the total scores for every time you've done the check in a graph form. And you can immediately see, as soon as you see that instant report, you can immediately see whether the graph is getting better or not getting better. If it's getting better, you're on the right treatment. Keep going. If it's not getting better, or if it's got a bit worse since the last time, you know that you need more treatment or different treatment. And it's so valuable to know quickly whether the treatment you're on is working and whether to continue it or whether to look for more treatment. Okay, well, that's I've got other things I have to do. I'm refining each of the tools, finishing some that are still incomplete, and dealing with people who I hope will help me to send this all over the world. Thank you. I just got to stop now.